Far beneath the freezing waters of the North Atlantic, there is a world most people will never see. A world where life moves slowly, but never truly stands still. Hidden among the rocks, lives a small sea cucumber called Psolus fabricii. It doesn't chase prey or flee danger. But this quiet animal left researchers with a mystery. A removed tiny fragment remained active. 3 years later, they still detected biological activity. How could this tissue survive? To answer that, we must understand the remarkable world that created it. Most people will never visit this place, not because it is impossible, but few think to look. Beneath the cold northern ocean, an entire world exists in mesmerizing slow motion. Every current carries food. Every rock supports life. Every tiny creature depends on another. At first, Psolus fabricii seems insignificant. It does not dominate this vast ecosystem. It does not hunt. It does not compete with speed or strength. Instead, it survives. By becoming part of the ocean's rhythm, it evolved one of the most extraordinary abilities. Do you see something fragile, or something that is almost impossible to destroy? By the end of this journey, you may never see sea cucumbers the same way. The seafloor beneath northern waters is not an empty wasteland. It is a landscape, built from currents, rock, sediment, and thousands of small lives competing for invisible resources. Every exposed surface becomes territory. Sponges filter water while featherworms reach out. Brittle stars search across stone. Inside smallest cracks, tiny crustaceans find shelter. Psolus fabricii belongs to this community. But finding one is not always easy. Its rough surface blends with rock. Its body remains almost completely still. When its feeding tentacles are closed, it appears like another piece of seafloor. Yet its position is never accidental. It attaches where water carries a steady supply. Too little current, nothing reaches it. Too much, and feeding becomes difficult. Even the shape of a rock can determine whether an individual survives. An exposed edge brings more food, but also brings stronger water and disturbance. The sea cucumber lives between stability and movement. Its body remains anchored. This habitat may appear calm, but nothing here is truly still. Water changes. Every life here is responding to movements. Those movements carry everything it needs. This animal does not travel. It waits for the ocean to bring food. For most animals, survival means movement. They search for food and territory. They escape danger and compete for territory, moving whenever their local conditions change. Psolus fabricii follows a different strategy. Once it finds the right piece of rock, it may remain there for an extraordinarily long time, anchored firmly against the current. Remaining still may appear like a disadvantage, but in this environment, movement is expensive. Cold water slows biological processes. Every unnecessary journey consumes energy that is difficult to replace. Food can arrive unpredictably. Leaving the rock would mean surrendering its safest possible position. Open sediment offers little protection. A strong current could easily displace a wandering animal.
Instead of chasing resources, Psolus fabricii chooses its position with extreme care and patience.
An exposed rock receives more moving water and food, but also greater environmental disturbance. While the fish must spend energy to find food, the sea cucumber stays anchored.
Its apparent stillness is not inactivity. It is a highly efficient and protective strategy.
This is patience refined by life in cold water, allowing the ocean to travel. If Psolus fabricii does not hunt or move, how exactly does it stay alive? The answer is flowing past its body at this very moment. Captured from the water. Psolus fabricii does not need to search for food. The ocean brings food to it. Suspended in the water is a constant mixture of life and the remains of life. Microscopic plankton, fragments of decaying organisms, and waste released by animals from far above. Mucus, bacteria, and fine organic material too small for us to notice. Together, these particles form what marine scientists often call marine snow. Some of it sinks from waters far above. Some is lifted from the seabed. And wherever the water moves, this invisible river of food moves with it. Psolus fabricii reaches into that river with a crown of branching tentacles. There is no chase, no strike, just the same precise movement, hour after hour. Across the seabed, different animals harvest different pieces of the same moving supply. The current connects them all. When it weakens, feeding slows. When it strengthens, more particles arrive. The sea cucumber cannot command this river. It can only place itself where it passes. Almost nothing is wasted. Even a quiet animal becomes part of a much larger exchange. Energy arrives, moves, changes, and is passed onward through the quiet machinery of the seafloor. What happens to all the organic material moving through this hidden world? Life beneath the Northern Ocean is peaceful, until it isn't. The same current that delivers food can suddenly become powerful. Sediment rises. Visibility disappears. Small animals retreat into shelter. Even rocks can shift. But Psolus fabricii has no choice. It cannot swim away. It cannot outrun the ocean. Instead, when conditions become dangerous, its feeding tentacles disappear. Its body presses tightly against the rock. It waits. Patience is often the safest survival strategy. Not every threat. Curious fish investigate anything unusual. Crabs wander across the seabed. Countless tiny organisms compete. Yet the sea cucumber rarely reacts. Its greatest defense is remaining unnoticed. Its rough, leathery skin. Many predators simply continue past without recognizing it as food. Day after day, the ocean leaves its mark. Tiny scratches. Constant abrasion. Changing currents. Drifting sediment. Nothing dramatic. It requires a body capable of repairing itself, again and again. For Psolus fabricii,
Damage is not an unusual event. It is part of daily life.
The animal lives pressed against rock. Sediment moves across its body. Small animals climb over it. Currents carry microorganisms into every exposed surface. A tiny abrasion may seem insignificant, but in cold seawater, even a small wound creates several problems at once. The surface must close, internal structure must be restored, and microbes must be controlled before they spread. Psolus fabricii cannot stop living. It must remain attached and continue feeding.
Cells move toward the injured region. Connective tissue changes its organization. Immune cells respond to foreign particles. The body remodels what remains. Sea cucumbers are known for tissues that can change their mechanical properties. Their connective structures can become firmer or more flexible, depending on needs.
This helps an animal remain attached and recover without abandoning its position.
But Psolus fabricii appears to take this resilience even further. The animal is surrounded by natural seawater, not a sterile environment. Or could a fragment continue doing what the body had trained it to do?
Scientists began with something incredibly small, a fragment cut from the tissue of Psolus fabricii,
then placed in flowing natural seawater. Normally, separation begins a countdown where the blood supply disappears. Nutrients become limited and damaged cells accumulate. Complex tissue gradually loses the organization that once kept it alive.
But this fragment followed a different path. Damaged material near the cut edge was removed. Healthy tissue curled inward, and the wound closed. Healing was only the beginning.
Weeks passed, then months. The fragments changed shape, reorganized their internal structure, and continued producing new cells.
Researchers detected ongoing cell cycling, immune responses, and living tissue reacting to the environment.
The samples remained in natural seawater filled with microorganisms. For detached tissue, those conditions make survival difficult. Yet the fragments continued clearing damaged material. The tissue absorbed dissolved amino acids directly from the seawater, not through a mouth, but across the surface itself. Molecules support ordinary cellular maintenance and continued reorganization.
Researchers tested relating species. None showed the same extraordinary long-term persistence as isolated Psolus fabricii tissues. Isolated tissues remained active after 3 years. They called them immortal explants, though the word requires caution. If a fragment can feed for years, where does the animal end and independent life begin? For millions of years, Psolus fabricii has lived exactly like this. Quietly, patiently, anchored to the same rocks while the ocean moves around it. It never evolved to amaze scientists. It evolved to survive here. Only when researchers carried its tissue into the lab did they realize its biology. The extraordinary biology they studied had been shaped by this environment all along. The currents, the constant repairs, the endless patience of the deep. Perhaps the greatest discoveries in biology do not begin inside a laboratory. Perhaps they begin here, where life has been solving problems for eons. At the beginning of this journey, we asked how tissue could remain biologically active for years. The answer was hidden here, in an animal shaped by Earth's most demanding environments. Every cold current and drifting particle helped build a body designed for persistence. Sometimes, the quietest creatures leave behind the biggest questions. Join us for our next expedition. Somewhere beneath the surface, another extraordinary story is already waiting to be discovered.